All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Malzberg Panel Thursday edition. And joining us is co-host of Close Encounters on WLIW, Lisa Jandovitz, and senior partner at NMM Thompson Law, syndicated talk show host, TV commentator, Adam M. Thompson. And to both of you, let's start with the Washington Post story on the Clinton Foundation and Hillary Clinton. And if ever there was a conflict of interest, this is a conflict of interest, but it's not, you know, this goes above and beyond. Hillary was Secretary of State, according to the Washington Post, and she came to some cockamamie deal with the Obama administration on ethics, whereby there'd be rules for them to take foreign money, foreign donations to the Clinton Foundation. And whereas I thought originally there were no foreign donations during that time period, there were, and one at least that they know of broke these ethics rules. Here we have now a former Secretary of State who's looking to be president. And what about it, Lisa? How's she going to overcome this one?
Well, very, very interesting in that this $500,000 given by Algeria to the Clinton Foundation, and the Clinton Foundation, the statement that went out says, well, we disclosed it on our website. They just happened to forget to inform the State Department. You know what is also very interesting about this is to see the media coverage. If this was a Republican possibly running for office, the media would be all over it. And for us to wait and see what will be, how it will be covered and what will be said, probably nothing. Probably the only whatever the statement that was issued by the Clinton Foundation, and that was it. But it's just unacceptable because it is such a breach of ethics, and certainly something that they knew was wrong.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna say, maybe I'll be the first to say this, Adam. I think it's unpatriotic to be Secretary of State and take foreign donations to my foundation. How's that?
Well, it kind of does, you know, ask the question, if you're getting donations from foreign countries, what's our relationship with those countries? Is that relationship being given preferential treatment or not preferential treatment? Are there changes in policies that could come into effect because of those donations? Those are going to be the questions that have to get answered, how this impacted decisions that were made. Another question I think has to be answered is what was the real status of prior administrations handling similar kind of situations? You know, were there, you know, certain deals struck between the White House and other members, such as a prior Secretary of State or people that had different charities or foundations set up, and what were the arrangements that were allowed? If it was done in the past by other administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike, then it'll have less impact. But if this is unique and just done between Obama and the Clintons because they've been helping each other out so much, then that's even a bigger red flag and a bigger ethics problem for the Clintons.
Well, who the heck else has a foundation that foreign countries were donating to? The logic here was the countries that were donating to them before she was Secretary of State, which to me means while she was senator, were allowed to keep donating. Well, that doesn't sound like too savvy a deal, Lisa.
Absolutely, and I go back to in the case of Algeria, which donated $500,000 to the foundation. They wanted to have a closer relationship with Washington. They were also lobbying the State Department for issues on human rights. So it just smells of such impropriety. But again, as Adam said, we need to find out. But then the question is, even when we find out, will anything be done? Will this affect Hillary Clinton should she decide to run?
Well, what I'm afraid of, Adam, is this. Well, the Washington Post may have done her a favor. We're 2 years out, or a year and 8 months out of an election, whatever, and now she could say down the road, it's old news. And that's what I'm afraid the Washington Post. Right, what difference does it make?
I think you nailed it, because it's taken out a potential huge explosion around debate time or later on closer to election time. Then now, when she has ways to give discussions about it, give answers, and let it blow over, that everyone forgets it and says, oh, old news.
All right, and by the way, when we come back, I want to talk about another example of outrageousness, and that's the fact that Lois Lerner actually got a bonus. Lois Lerner got a bonus. And the whole make-believe theory on how to combat terror by this White House and State Department, get them jobs, get them education. Well, now we find out that Jihad Johnny, and I hate even using that name, the guy who cut off the heads of our journalists and others in the videos for ISIS, they know who he is. He has a college degree. He was well off, and he still became who he is. So, so much for that theory. We're coming back with more of the Malzberg panel right after this. Don't you go away. All right, folks, we're back with the Malzberg panel, Lisa Jandovitz and Adam M. Thompson. So it turns out that Lois Lerner, who was at the head of this whole extra scrutiny for conservatives, we know the whole deal, the whole IRS scandal that the media says is non-existent. She received over 3 years $130,000 in bonuses. In fact, in 2012, she exceeded the total she could get of $230,700, and they had to suspend the bonus. I mean, Adam, this is just, again, it's insanity. And you would think if this were a Republican administration and the IRS had been, badgering and harassing liberals and Democrats, this would be front page news and they'd be debating it all day on the cable stations.
Yeah, this is just really looks bad for one big reason. If anything, people know what your salary caps are, what you make, what the max you can make is, and particularly when you work in the federal government, there are posted and well-known caps. And I believe for a government federal employee, it's like $245,000. So if you know you're at that salary cap, which she was, you know you can't make any money over that, whether it's overtime, bonuses, whatever it is. Now, there is a provision that says for other employees you can get a bonus to keep you as part of the government retention salary as a bonus. But she was already capped, so she knew she couldn't get it. Anyone offering it to her should have known that she couldn't have gotten it. And
yeah,
the fact that she got years in a row.
The point is, why the heck? I mean, Lisa, why the heck was she getting a bonus anyway?
I don't know. That was what I was going to say as well. Why was she given this bonus? Did they think that no one else could have targeted conservatives as she was doing so? Why? And then once it's found out, see, here's the other thing, is that it's just not covered. We'll talk about it here. It will not be covered. It'll be forgotten. And what will the consequences be? Will there be any effect as to us finding out about this?
No,
I guess
absolutely
they missed
not.
the
All right,
email.
now, yeah, right. All right, now, this Jihad Johnny guy, they think they know who he is. A Kuwaiti citizen, raised in the UK, went to college, got a degree, his family was successful, and he winds up cutting off the head of American journalists and other ISIS hostages and doing the videos threatening Obama. Doesn't this kind of, Lisa, shoot down on the heels of this cockamamie terrorism summit, their whole theory that you got to find these people jobs and you got to get them businesses, otherwise they'll turn to terror, and they keep ignoring the fact that people like Osama bin Laden, and now this guy and many others are in leadership positions, and they had jobs, they were successful.
Yes, looking at this, I was thinking of this. And we were talking about this before, calling him Jihad John. That's just giving him the celebrity that he probably enjoys.
We'll call him Jihad Jesse from now on.
But I thought about him, and as well as the 3 young girls from the UK who left for Syria, and thinking, well, how do these kids, again, supposedly from good families, they were straight A students as well, where do they get to the point where they don't think that there's something heinous, there's something horrible about what ISIS is doing? And there was one report that I was reading that said, because all of the reports about this ISIS guy, the Jihad John, said, he's educated, good family, but when they interviewed neighbors, many of the neighbors said they were strange people. They didn't assimilate. They didn't speak with us. There was something. So there's something else that's going on.
Adam is a strange guy, and yet he's not Jihad Adam. Go ahead, Adam. We got less than a minute.
What's really scary about this is it just shows all these theories that the administration thinks that they have that are answers to these problems is so way off point. The administration has not been right on anything dealing with how to deal with this terrorism. They don't even call it by its right name, which is radical Islam or radical Muslim terrorists. You don't even hear those words. They're not looking at it in a realistic way. The answer is to fight them head on and just eliminate them, period.
All right, guys, ladies, gentlemen, thank you. Great panel. Lisa Jandovitz and Adam Thompson, we appreciate it. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's Gimme 5. You're not going to want to miss it, I promise you, right here on Newsmax Television.